Pending home sales fall 6.9% during the month end of August, despite of interest rates going down. This is the biggest decline of home sales in over 12 months. And the question would be, why? Mortgage rates are starting to go down. Yes, interest rates are still holding, but mortgage rates are going down. And so, according to Redfin and Zillow, I kind of cross-compared two different articles on why the market is still sensitive right now. And I'm going to give you my synapse on it because I lived through multiple market compressions and election years, and I want to share with you guys a little bit about what's happening right now. So if you're not familiar, on August 17th, the National Association of Realtors, also known as NAR, this is the acronym for it, put into effect buyers and sellers' abilities to negotiate commissions on the sales and purchases of transactions. Now, because this new election just happened and got passed on August 17th, the question is, how is it going to affect sellers? How is it going to affect buyers? And ultimately, how is it going to affect the overall market? And so right now, it is still a big question mark as to how brokerage firms are going to acclimate and adapt to the new law. And so some brokerage firms, when interviewed, made mention that they're just going to do full disclosure right off the bat. And if somebody doesn't sign the disclosure as to the commissions that they're going to collect, they just won't do business with them, which I feel is the exact opposite of what you should be doing. Commissions should be earned. One of the biggest things about sales is that if you don't serve your clients, you shouldn't get paid. And so one of the biggest reasons that this came into effect in the first place was the fact that most agents weren't servicing their customers to their fullest, and buyers felt almost ripped off. Selling a home, didn't have representation, but yet still giving away 3% on an $800,000 home, $500,000 home, or $1 million home to agents and brokers that weren't doing the work to earn that money. And so now they have the ability to negotiate that. Now, one of the big things that will depict how that ultimately affects it is the systems and processes that are put together by the actual brokerage firms. Now, there is a status quo that will end up coming into play, and the best firms that come with the best solution in regards to the systems and processes that they utilize will ultimately hold the precedence of what's going to end up happening and acclimating through the market nationwide. And I have a feeling it's going to be more service-oriented, and there's going to be an opportunity for buyers and sellers to retract if they don't feel like they get the service that they actually need. Now, there's a balance to that, right? Some people are unreasonable, and we understand that people that are unreasonable, they don't want to pay commission anyway. So we want to make sure that there's an even balance. So we'll find out where the systems and processes actually come into play and what actually ultimately lands up happening to stabilize the NAR election and what has been implemented on August 17th. Now, that's number one. The second thing, there's three of these main components that are affecting the market right now. And the second thing right now is that lower mortgage rates still haven't hit the market the way people feel they should, because interest rates themselves haven't got cut the way they have talked about. People feel like there's still more room on the table for mortgage rates to actually come down. Now, here's the caveat to that. Once mortgage rates come down more and the market opens up and people start buying, the big thing is there's going to be more competition because housing prices still haven't lowered. And the reason that housing prices still haven't went down is because there's an inventory crisis. So in spite of the market compression and in spite of 6.9% of the month end decline in home sales, there's still a vast majority of people that are still waiting for homes that don't have them right now. So one thing that we're trying to do right now is find a balance between, okay, supply and demand and what's happening with mortgage rates. So if you're waiting for home prices to come down, home prices aren't going to come down. Mortgage rates might come down, but you also might be cusp in a market that is more seller friendly and prices going up. And so there again, there's a teeter-totter. There's a balance to this, right? So my suggestion for those of you guys who are waiting to buy a home, this is a great time to buy a home because there's less competition. There's sellers right now that are sitting on inventory. You can get a better price. Maybe your mortgage rate isn't where you want it to be. Finance it. Most mortgages don't have any early payout penalties. So if in 12 months from now, mortgage rates go down, refi and just get a lower mortgage rate right now because you have more negotiating power in this moment, and it's going to be a micro moment to be able to negotiate lower home prices than you will maybe 6, 9, 12 months from now. So be careful how long you wait because you might otherwise find yourself in a position where, yes, you get lower mortgages, but you're paying exponentially more for your home because there's more competition in the market. I'd go buy today. Now, third, last but not least, and probably one of the most important components that I've been talking about is the fact that the presidential election has cusped the market. This, I believe, is the number one reason that the market isn't where it needs to be right now. I still remember the 2008 elections when Obama was coming into office. It was a big historical election, and people just contracted. They didn't know why they contracted. And I just did a reel on Instagram and telling people, give me your reasoning. Like, people are waiting to see who the president is. And so I don't believe that the U.S. American people are sophisticated enough to really understand the policies in depth to understand why they're even waiting. I just think that it makes them feel good. And what I really believe, and actually I know, is that people hate change and they hate the unknown, and people are fearful. And so because they're fearful and because they hate change, they just hate the uncertainty of not knowing who the president's going to be. There's not really a policy that they're actually waiting to get implemented, nor do they even know what that policy does and how it will even change the game for them. I think they're optimistic that if one president gets in or the other, there's going to be magical changes to mortgage rates and interest rates overnight, which isn't going to happen. There's going to be, the Federal Reserve is going to be involved in it. The president may have some influence on it, but ultimately it's still going to take several months to be able to even bring interest rates down. And they're not going to just happen and drop overnight where you get exponential drops overnight. It's going to be a cascading effect of slow, modest changes to interest rates over the course of a duration of several months or even a year or longer. And so we got to take a look at the policies as they actually sit. And I'm going to ask you guys, if you guys are waiting for the presidential elections to buy homes, or you guys are waiting to see what the outcome is, comment below exactly what you're waiting for. I'm just curious. I want to see if maybe you guys know something I don't know and there's policies that I haven't read about or understand in depth. You know, the biggest ones that have come to the table is the tax policies that Kamala Harris has put together that we've done videos on to explain how it's going to affect and crush the middle class. But we have very strong understanding of this mathematically, okay? It doesn't have anything to do with politics. It all has to do with math. It's a mathematical equation of what they're proposing and how it affects not just the wealthy, but more so the middle class, and how the middle class is going to have to acclimate or get crushed with some of these policies. Now, that's what we have understanding of. Now, what I want to know is, what is your understanding of it? That has nothing to do with the current mortgage rate, okay? It has nothing to do with interest rates. It has everything to do with long-term capital gains and unrealized gains, which also affects the stock market, okay? And other assets as well, IRAs and all the stuff that you're invested in, working for your employers that are giving you guys stock benefits, okay? So there's multiple areas and magnitudes of diversification within those, some of these policies they're proposing. But my curiosity is, what policies are you waiting for specifically, okay? And I just want to know. Comment below. Let me know what policies you're waiting for. Now, mortgage applications, in spite of what's happening, we're actually up by 1% week over week, which, you know, that's too short of a period of time to really see the volatility of how that affects the market, because it's still down 9% year over year. So people are still not putting in as many mortgage applications. Hence, people aren't doing refinances, HELOCs, or doing new home mortgages and purchases. So we know that the market still is sensitive to the fact that buyers are waiting. And the three variables that we just went over are the three major variables that are affecting the market according to both Zillow and Redfin. Ladies and gentlemen, if you guys like the content and want more information just like this, click below, pound that thumbs up button, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Until then, continue compounding your success.